Well, hello there, people. We are going to talk about why I think Zero to Hero videos are bullshit. Because I actually took a lot of them, and they'll promise you that you're going from being this little person up here that knows nothing about, let's say, Python and stuff, that to being like the boss fucking fanfaring elite programmer that exists on Earth. It's massive bullshit, and I'm talking from my own experience watching maybe not hundreds, but a shit ton of them, and seeing a shit ton of people watching these videos and then trying to get work, and seeing myself watching a lot of those videos and working on code and with people that are trained in code. So if the thing about this here is like you're a massive noob down here. You're a massive noob down here, you know nothing about X programming language. Up here you were like a boss, you were like an expert. EXP expert. In here is the skill level. So everyone start out as a noob. At some point, when you're going to work as a developer, let's say that would be about, let's say here, you have to work. So you need to, this little bit down here is where you get the knowledge. But when you get to here, you are now employable. That you start to work as a developer here. That also means that you have the basic knowledge. Just because you get your diploma as a programmer, that don't mean you're an expert. It just means that all you are is you have the minimum required knowledge for someone to hire you, and you being efficient enough to work on your own at that job. It's not just coding, it's anything else. When you have the certification that you're a mechanic, a machinist, an engineer, and you're fresh out of school. That just means that Bob up here can hire you with your fancy hair here. And he don't have to babysit you, he don't have to teach you, well, he have to teach, but he don't have to teach you the basics. So what this means is that if Bob here is hiring you, he don't have to tell you what a variable is or what a string is and so on and so on. He don't have to teach you best practices and software development philosophies and all of these kind of crazy fucking ass things. You know, a lot of things he don't have to teach you, because you basically what a diploma say is that I understand enough about programming or whatever it is that you here can hire me up here to do work for you and do the basic or the most average work on my own without you supervising me or have to teach me anything. That's what, when you're ready to work, that was that mean. You're not an expert, you're just workable, you are hireable. So where do Zero to Hero put you in? We know nothing about programming. When we get here, you now have that's a diploma from whatever education that you took in programming. Where do Zero to Hero put you? So if you watch those Zero to Hero videos, you'll watch 5, 10, 20 Zero to Hero videos in Python or C++ or whatever. Where on the scale from noob to being basically employable does it put you? Are you ready to get really fucking frustrated right now? It kind of puts you over here. So Zero to Hero only gives you the super basics of what programming is. The absolute basic. What Zero to Hero is, what you learn under Zero to Hero in 99% of the videos out there is probably what someone that goes to school, so if this is a book. So Zero to Hero probably equals to about 6 months to 1 year when you watch that video. And that's not practical knowledge, that's just understanding. That, you know, at most, they would get you to 6 months to a year of the same education that someone from that didn't do Zero to Hero. And if I'm totally honest, what Zero to Hero really does equals probably only like 3 months. This is probably the more, like, if I'm being really conservative and I'm like, if you boil down like 6 months of programming development in school or 1 year to like, okay, these are the things you're learning, but these are the things you're going to learn or use the most in a working environment. Because when you go to school, you learn a lot of things that you're probably never going to use, or you're not going to use much of, but they are nice to understand and know. So if you take away all of the fluffiness or all of the extra things that you learn in a school for development, we could probably say that one video that's like 3+ hours long, probably only like let's say 10+ hours long. You probably learn about the same, and maybe not even that, but about the same as you learn in 3 months in school. When you condense, you know, what you learn in school, when you condense it down and take away the shit that you're probably not going to use, but nice to know. You know, 3 months of school. That's it. This here is 0 to hero. What is all of this stuff in here? Well, let me clean some shit out. So, all of this stuff in here, that is working, getting experience, learning best practices, dealing with people, projects, etc. It's also deep learning, I think I would call it. What do deep learning means? Well, so let's say we go into variables. Instead of just having an overall idea about what a variable is and understand what a variable is, they go deep into the idea of a variable. How it's structured, why it is that way, what the idea is. They go a little bit into the history of it, so you understand why X and Y and Z programming languages are doing it, and you learn more about a variable than it's just a variable. So some people like, okay, I know I have to do string and then name or mom equals B-U-B. They don't really know other than, oh, I need to put a string in there. That's what 0 to hero kind of teaches you. It's like, yeah, if you're doing something that's a string of letters, this is the variable name. In some programming language, you have to put the word string in front of it, or else it won't function. That's to the extent that 0 to hero is going to teach you. What going to school is going to teach you is why. Why do we need it to be string? How does it work in the back end? How does the language handle it? How does the memory handle it? And etc. etc. That's what you learn in school. And learning all of these things here actually equips you better to understand the programming language and understand how to actually use the programming language more efficiently. It also makes you way more hireable because you can do more things on your own than having to learn it while you're working. So if I'm hiring someone that's had taught themselves to train from 0 to hero here, this bit in here, the workplace, have to teach you. Or you have to teach you that on your own. All of these missing bits in here, either the people that are hiring you have to teach you that, or you have to teach yourself that. Because a lot of 0 to hero videos don't talk about things like best practices. They don't talk about modularity in code. They don't talk about working together with other people in a massive project and make your code readable, understandable stuff. They just cleanse over it because it's not sexy and it takes a lot of fucking time. And it's basically making the video 20, 30, 40, 50, fucking 100 hours long. So you're missing out. Really bad fucking handwriting here. You're really missing out. Massively missing out. So if this is me, have like, let's say I have 2 candidates here. Let's do another one here. This is let's call him a real dev. This is a 0 to hero guy. I have to pick between one of these 2 people here. This one here is probably more expensive. But I can say to this person here right now, do this thing. And there is a high chance that they don't need any extra training or any extra looking into or anything like that to do the project or to do the thing I want them to do or code the thing I want them to do. If I ask this person up here, well, I now have to train them into all this bit down here. And that could be best practices. It could be integrating code. It could be working with other people's code. They do know what a variable is. They know what a class is. But they don't know all of that fucking shit. And all of this shit in here, this bit up here, actually makes you able to work with other people and actually makes you a developer. Just knowing what a class is, knowing what a variable is and how it functions and how to build a calculator or something, you're not a developer. I'm sorry to say you're not a developer. And some companies, they love hiring these people up here that are self-taught because they can mold them into their own creation. So someone like me that is self-taught, if I get a job at a company, they can mold me in to be the most company guy ever because I am not basically contaminated by experience getting from work or other companies or school and other companies. So if they have like a best practices that is not the normal or they're doing things their way, I am learning. So this 0 to hero, he's learning this person's way of programming or this company's way of programming. And that is really great if you're only working for this company or this person here. Where the other guy down here, the one that got a diploma, he can work on any company and he needs really limited training to work in any company whatsoever. Someone like me, if I learn Bob's way of coding in his company and I'm now going to work in a year or so for Amy, they may do it in a totally different way and now I have to basically take away. Let's say I've been there for a year. I'm probably have to take 6 months of training. That's just useless. because it's only functional within this fucking company here. And then I have to learn this Amish company's way of doing it. Where this guy over here, he already knows and understands the basics of almost any way of doing things and the basics of the most used way of doing things programming-wise and stuff like that. So he just have to adapt, or she just have to adapt the commonly known way of doing things with Bob's way of doing things or Amy's way of doing things. AKA, probably just a little bit of modification to the workflow. You get what I'm coming at here? So if you get one of those Zero to Hero videos here, and you now think, I can go and work for some of these people here, and I'm just as employable and workable, and as you get the same fucking salary as someone that's been to school for 7 years as a programmer. You have no idea about all of the extra stuff that they learn that you don't know about. That makes them way more adaptable, agile, skillable to work for a company. I'm not saying that if you're a self-taught programmer, you can't get work. And if you're showcasing really good potential, you can get work. But that means that the company now have to spend a little bit of extra time to fill this gap up here. And if they see a really good potential because you learn this, you know the absolute basics. You can crawl and you can kind of walk. You know, you're stumbling a little bit, falling on your face a little bit, knocking some teeth out. But you have potential to be a fucking good marathon runner or whatever, like a 500 meter sprint runner or something like that. And the boss here sees that potential in you from the way you already have done coding and stuff like that. They can be like, you know what, let's invest in this person. Let's invest in the Zero to Hero. The thing is, that is like one out of probably hundreds of thousands of Zero to Hero people. Watching a Zero to Hero video and do all of the exercises they do in there are kinda easy. Fuck it, I've done it plenty of times. I have watched Zero to Hero videos and thought I could now go and program a fucking Linux thing that I want to get to work in Linux, or go in and mess with the kernel code in Linux, and I'm like, I have no fucking idea what's going on here. And I passed all the fucking, checkpoints on the online courses and all that fucking shit with the Zero to Hero kind of mentality that some people have on their or on their online courses. And I had no I knew what a variable was. I could see a variable when I saw it. I could see a variable, I could see a class, but that was about it, I knew the basic math things that they do, basic structure of algorithms and stuff like that. But looking at other people's code, I was just as lost as in the beginning. So what am I saying with this Zero to Hero? Should you just forget about them? No. They are really good videos to get a refresher course. If Zero to Hero videos were so good, everyone would be doing it. Nobody would go to school. Everyone would be watching it. If Zero to Hero videos was better than taking an education, and you can now work as a developer by watching a 20-hour video, and then putting 20 hours of your own work into, so that's 40 hours. So if you can get a paid job for 40 hours of education, everyone would be doing it. It's that fucking simple. If Zero to Hero was this massive, amazing hack, everyone would be doing it. Nobody would fucking go to school for 4, 5, 6, 7 years if they can do it in 4 hours of homework. That's like a week of work, It's a week of fucking work. Why would I go to school for years and get on-site training for years if I can just watch a Zero to Hero video and then get work? See you all later. Bye-bye.